Let's talk about social learning theory by Albert Bandura. According to him, there are four stages: attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation. First question, why is it called social learning theory? It simply means that we learn from others. So we learn from what other people do. And there are two ways that this happens, through observation and imitation. Whatever we observe from others, what we see, what we hear, if it seems good or useful, we imitate it, we copy it. And that is why it is called social learning theory. Let's start with the first one, which is attention. So when we say attention, it means that something has caught your focus. In this stage, there are two people involved, the model and the observer. The model is the MKO, or the more knowledgeable other. There are someone better than you at a certain skill, for example, singing, dancing, or teaching. So you see something interesting about this person. That is why they caught your attention. Meanwhile, you are the observer. You are the one watching, using your senses, like sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, meaning whatever you perceive with your senses, that's part of the observation, and that makes you the observer. So it makes sense because in order to learn from others, we first observe them. And we only observe them because they catches our attention or interest. Second stage is retention. So it is not enough that we simply observe. We must also remember. Retention means keeping the information in our memory. But not everything we see is remembered. Only what is meaningful or interesting to us. So if it has no value, we forget it. But if it matters to us, we retain it. The difference between attention and retention is that in attention, there are two people involved, the model and the observer. But in retention, only the observer remains. Retention is therefore learning to know. So at this point, even without the model present, we can recall what they did. So in order to learn, you must be able to remember the behavior of the model. The third stage is reproduction. Learning only happens when you can now perform what you saw in real life. This is the stage of application. In the first stage, you only observe. In retention, you remembered, so you gained knowledge. But knowledge alone is not enough. For a true learning to occur, you must apply that knowledge. And when you apply the knowledge, it becomes a skill. The difference between retention and reproduction is this. Retention is learning to know. Belongs to the cognitive domain. You only recall. But reproduction is when you take what you remembered and applied it, which belongs to the psychomotor domain. In other words, reproduction is about action. From the word itself, reproduction, it means to reproduce. The original is the model, and you are the copy. So whatever the original does, you now perform. Their movement, their behavior, you copy it. You are the reproduced version. Finally, we have the motivation. The keyword here is reason. So why should we continue this behavior that we copy? This is where the law of effect applies. If the outcome is positive, we either get praise, success, or the feeling of approval. We keep doing the action. But if the outcome is negative, we receive criticism, embarrassment, or failure, we stop the action. So motivation belongs to the affective domain because it involves values and attitude. So to recap, in attention, you have a model. The model has a behavior. And behavior includes knowledge, skills, and attitudes, all of which you may copy. In retention, you focus on knowledge. You can recall what the model did. In reproduction, you apply what you remembered, and you became the copy of the model. So in motivation, you find a reason to continue, which belongs to the affective domain. So we learn from others because of their behavior, and behavior has three parts: the cognitive, the affective, and psychomotor. People have the knowledge, the skills, and the attitude. The head, the heart, and the hand. So when we copy this, we also gain a head. In retention, or we gain the knowledge. The hand, the reproduction or the skills, and the heart, the motivation and or the attitude. So we learn from the behavior of others, and when we copy it, we adapt it. And that basically means the social learning theory by Albert Bandura.